Colonel Glenn Bloomstrom, United States Army retired, is our guest of honor this evening. Colonel Bloomstrom is an Army brat. His father was a career command sergeant major and he lived all over the world as a young man. In fact, Colonel Bloomstrom was born in Japan. His grandparents maintained a homestead in Minnesota and he returned home to attend Bethel University, graduating in 1977. He entered military service in 1979 as a chaplain and was assigned as the battalion chaplain to the 82nd Airborne Division. Over the next 33 years, Colonel Bloomstrom spent the great majority of his time serving soldiers and their families and deploying with the Army's most elite combat units, to include the 82nd Airborne Division, Army Special Operations Command, the 3rd Ranger Battalion, the 25th Infantry Division, the 18th Airborne Corps, and the Joint Special Operations Command. In addition, he served as an action officer in the Office of the Chief of Chaplains, Washington, D.C., and as the command chaplain of the United States Army Combined Arms Center in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. He is a master parachutist, and he holds the Covenant Ranger tab. He retired from active federal service in 2011, again with 33 years of service to our nation. Currently, he is the Assistant Professor of Leader Development and the Chaplain at Bethlehem College and Seminary here in Minneapolis. Colonel Bloomstrom's expertise is centered around marriage education and the development of relationship skills. In addition, he is a recognized national expert in suicide prevention and crisis counseling. He has been interviewed on Fox News, CNN, BBC, and National Public Radio. He holds a BA degree from Bethel College, a Master's in Divinity from the Bethel Theological Seminary, a Master of Science in Family Studies from Kansas State University, and a Master of Arts in Strategic Studies from the Army War College. He is a licensed clinical family therapist. He is married to Ruth, and it's nice to have you here tonight, also a Bethel graduate, and they have 3 children. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Bloomstrom.
Ladies and gentlemen, students, it's a real privilege to be with you tonight. I just recently was here at St. Thomas Academy a few weeks ago to see a real American hero, Louis Zamperini. And I'm also very acquainted with a very special family of alumni from here, the Nielsen family. Dan Nielsen, Steve Nielsen, and their wonderful parents. I've gotten to know them over the last year and a half or so, and they're very proud to be associated with St. Thomas Academy. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. Now, I'd like to address my comments tonight to our students, those who are here in St. Thomas Academy who are receiving recognition tonight. Congratulations, gentlemen. Let me just say at the beginning, if I'd known how my life would unfold for me when I was your age, I would have never believed it. I could not have imagined in my wildest dreams what I would have been able to be associated with from the time I graduated in 1973 from high school. That's a long time ago, isn't it? Older than a lot of your parents. But for me, especially in my years in the United States military, I had the opportunity to live such things as Black Hawk Down and Zero Dark 30. I had the chance to walk with paratroopers from the Normandy invasion and those from World War II and the Korean War and the Vietnam War. Airborne was very much a part of my experience in the military. And it continues today, even after retirement. When I die, and even if that were to be tonight, I will die with gratitude, satisfaction, and peace. I'd like this for you, and to know the same kind of satisfaction all of your days. Proverbs 19, verses 20 through 23 says this: listen to advice and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future. Many are the plans in the mind and heart of man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. What is desired in a man is steadfast love, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of the Lord leads to life, and whoever has it rests satisfied. So tonight, I'm going to use a very simple acrostic, I guess. The word is light, and those will each be the main points I want to make tonight. It'll sound like a sermon because it is a sermon. You can't take the preacher out of this chaplain. But I'll always be a chaplain all of my days, and it's a great privilege to guarantee the free exercise of all religion within the United States military, as I had the opportunity to do. And so I am not speaking merely as a Baptist minister tonight, but as a Christian, and as a man who loves God and who loves the Scriptures. First, L, live. Gentlemen and young people, don't waste your life. There are so many ways to waste your life. You know what they are, and they come at the expense of what is best. Have a vision. Have a mental picture of what you can do to make a difference in the world. That vision starts small. You'll be at the bottom. You'll have to take orders. You'll have to learn. You'll have to go through the crucible and listen. And you know, wearing the uniform and in a structured place where you come in with no rank and you leave as the big cheese. You know what that's all about. And some of you today are the big cheese here at St. Thomas. Your coaches, teachers, priests, ministers, leaders challenged you to have a vision. And this vision starts with homework, practice, discipline. Ooh, what a bad word. But Colonel DePulio told me that St. Thomas Academy is on the swing. And a lot of parents want their sons to learn about discipline. So when you put on your uniform, and when you shine your shoes, and when you make sure everything's just right, you're practicing for life, not just to prevent getting dogged out by an upperclassman. Be someone first. Honor your family name, the name that you wear on your name tag. Grow into something and someone your children and children's children will tell stories about. It's hard for you to imagine that now, but one day that will come if you concentrate on being someone first rather than getting something. Something is second. Someone is first. Today, you're the next generation. You're the future leaders. You're the preservers and model of strong marriages. You're the volunteers that make communities better. You're the next leaders and changers of the world. That's what Dean Trespass told me when I was in high school. He said it all the time in band. And you know what? I believed him. And you know what else? It's true. Set goals. Do your best. It's not about perfection. I wasn't sure if I was going to graduate from college. So I said, I'm going to college and I'm going to study the Bible so that when I flunk out, at least I'll know something about the most important book. And God helped me get through that. And I can't believe even today that He's helped me to get 3 master's degrees. I'd like to trade those in maybe for a PhD, but they don't allow such things. But if you would have said, you'll get 3 master's degrees, I'd say, you've got to be kidding, when I was in high school. So, set goals, do your best. Riches, possessions, titles may come, but they'll not matter as much as loyalty, friendship, hope, joy. Joy based on character. These are seen most clearly, your character, when you have to suffer, when you see the emptiness of things, thinking money can buy joy, when you go without, when you fail, when you recognize your own selfishness and shallowness, you are on the way and you are on the road to true freedom and joy. The opposite of living is procrastinating. It's blaming others. It's making excuses for our failure to engage life. Live life. Don't waste it. Integrity. I know you're being taught that here. One of my sons is a graduate of Virginia Military Institute. So he put on the uniform and he had to walk around at the college level. You're doing a lot of that today. I went to Virginia Military Institute once, and there on the blackboard was taped a quarter. And on the whiteboard it said lost, a quarter. And I thought, you've got to be kidding me. Good things generally don't make it on the front page of the newspaper or all over the internet. Failures of integrity do. Keep your word. Do the harder right, even when you are the only one doing the right thing. How do you know what is right? God has given us guidance. The school stresses a centrality on God. We're going to talk about Him in a minute. But it's His Word, the Bible. If you read it, if you listen to it, you will know what's right. Practice doing right every day, because when the time comes and integrity is your guide, when somebody's life is on the line, you will do the right thing automatically, because you practice doing the right thing in big and small ways. It's easier to practice when you're young. You have less baggage. Things are clearer when you're younger. You're more open, and God will give you opportunities to practice every day. Places like St. Thomas Academy, service academies, the church, the military can give standards and structure in a very confusing world. I saw so many young people changed in the military because there was structure, things were clear, and consequences were spelled out. Only institutions like I just mentioned will make that so. There's structure, there's clarity, there's consequences. It's not so clear in the civilian world. Thank God and your parents that you're at a place that is stressing that now for you. We need a clear and reliable God. The Bible is a worthy guide. You will fail at integrity. That is part of life. But when you fail, it helps you to recognize that God has mercy on those who confess and admit their wrongs to one another. Admit when you're wrong now. Because if you can admit now when you're wrong as a young person, you can do it when you're a newly married man. And you can do it in a new job. And you won't be tempted to lie, cheat, or steal, or fudge because everybody else is doing it or encouraging you to do it. When you admit and confess, the defensiveness falls right away. As a marriage counselor, I deal with so many times husbands and wives who are trying to say, well, I was right and you were wrong. That's really no place to start. It starts when we say, I was wrong. We say it to those we're in relationship with, and it brings unity, and it brings change, and it empowers us. And the same forgiveness we receive, we pass on to others. G. I told you G was coming, and God is represented in G. Light. L-I-G. God is at the center of light, and He is the center of your life. Live the drama of your life before Him. He is your audience, no one else. He knows your thoughts from afar. You cannot hide from Him in the darkness or in supposed confusion or in excuses. He knows your heart. He wants, and you can have a relationship with Him moment by moment. He is with you. He gives grace. He gives strength. He calls you, and you listen to him. And when you listen to him, his voice gets stronger. And as you talk to him, and as you would any wise, mature person, you will experience his care, his power, his mercy, and hope will grow as you see and experience him as God, worthy of our respect, a perfect Father, one who is so holy he could have nothing to do with evil, but so loving that he shows us himself in Jesus. Those who grasp this awareness are different. You can tell, and they are being transformed throughout their lifetime. When he is at the center, you can't take credit. You recognize him. You're reminded that he sees. He is just. He is perfect. His justice is based on his perfection, and he gives us opportunity and capabilities. We didn't achieve anything on our own. It seems like it, but it's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's not networking. It's not family connections. God is at the center. God helped me to see this in high school. He called and I listened. I obeyed his voice and became stronger. Does this mean we should all be priests and ministers? For some, yes. But for most, God wants a relationship with you. H, honor. Do not think of yourselves more highly than you ought, but with honesty treat others as better than yourself. Part of being in the light is to see the image of God in every person. Part of being in the light is to see and look beyond the person to the heart. To honor the person created in the image of God is to look beyond ethnicity, tribes, economic status, gender, body shape, degrees, titles, and rank. Men reject the view of our society that women are simply objects and to be used to sell things, to get people's attention. Women are your sisters, and they're your mothers, and they are to be respected and honored. Pride is evil, and in its darkest form, it challenges that light and causes us to think only of ourselves. So practice honoring everyone, so that when you meet a man or woman of true honor, you will do exactly what you're supposed to do, because you honor everyone. T, trust. With God at the center, and God as my audience, I can trust. I can trust to risk, to live, to be true, to honor, and to give, and expect nothing in return. When we have no expectations of return, we have less disappointment. And especially when it's not reciprocated, we have the satisfaction of paying it forward, of doing things with God as our audience. Many times in the military, I met fine young men who were being challenged in a new society to go with the flow. I've sat with men in strange places like Panama, where houses of prostitution were right outside the gate. And I preached and said, come on, guys, live up to your name. All the same things I said, while the medics were handing out condoms. And you know what? Some of those guys came to me later and said, chaps, thanks for challenging me. I didn't go. I feel really good about that. And I shook his hand and gave him a hug. Everywhere in this world wants to strip you of the things you hold dear, the values and the character that define you. Don't let them. Be different, even if you're the only one. So when we have trust, we can take risks. I can honor my fellow soldier. Some even call it love. And I can go out under fire because I honor my brother to my right and left. And I can risk my life because of the bond of brothers. It's the same in family. It's the same as we honor people. I was invited many times over the years to go on missions by my men. That was a great honor, but it was also a great risk, especially when I was a colonel. Come on, chaps, you want to go out with us on a mission? You want to go out with us on the op? And I had to think for a split second. I'm in my 50s. I'm going to retire in a year or two. Do I really need to do this? But then I'd say, oh God, I represent you. I'm trusting in you. Let me be a light and let me be strong for you. And you know, after those operations, every guy came to the service and I had a chance to tell them the things I'm telling you tonight. At the end of during my career as well, trust leads to security, and security leads to greater trust, and trust leads to the ability to take that risk and demonstrate personal courage, whether it's facing cancer, destructive choices, or situations. And this is not my strength, but it's the strength that God provides. At another time, when I was much younger, I was in an aircraft over Panama, and I was on the initial wave doing a combat jump into Panama. I was what was called the jumping safety at that time, and I was the last one out the door of my aircraft. And as they opened the door, I knew my life could pass before my eyes in an instant. Who knew what would happen the instant I jumped out of that door? And in fact, even before I jumped out, one of my men was shot through the aircraft, the skin of the aircraft. And at that point, at that very moment, I was reminded of a verse of scripture. It came to me so loud and clear, and it washed over me in such an amazing way. And that verse came from Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. And that verse was given to me by a gray-haired saint when I was visiting him in the hospital, and I was a young minister. And he took my hand, and his wrinkled hand, and he looked into my face and he said, young man, I think he forgot my name. He said, be still and know that I am God. And so right there in the midst of that, I knew where I was, who I was, and where I'd go in that split moment between life and death. At the end of this life, the Word says we will go to the light of the world. The world says, that's it, you return to dust. The Word says, though we are dead, yet we shall live. Do you believe this? I've seen people who are alive who are dead. I've been close to those who have died because of the character they displayed in combat. There's a remarkable difference. I had a young SEAL, or a young Ranger, who was killed in Afghanistan that I ministered to, and I heard a lot about him after he died. And every time before an operation, he was a very sincere Christian man. He would pray. If there was no chaplain, he'd say, okay, guys, let's pray together. You know, a lot of soldiers do that. They pray the Lord's Prayer. And he prayed, Lord, if somebody's going to die tonight, let it be me. Is tonight the day I die? Am I ready? And the soldiers, the Rangers, reminded me of Joel. So there's such trust when life is over and we know where we're going. There is such trust for you at the beginning when you're young and you don't know where you're going. It's the same at either end. Be a light in a dark place. Live life as men of integrity. Keep God at the center. Honor everyone. Trust and take risks to do what is right. And in the end, and at the beginning, you will find true joy, lasting satisfaction in this life and the next. Proverbs 19:20 through 23. Listen to the ancient words. Listen to advice and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future. Many are the plans in the mind and heart of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. What is desired in a man is steadfast love. A poor man is better than a liar. And finally, verse 23. The fear of the Lord leads to life, and whoever has it rests satisfied. Thank you so much.
Chaplain, thank you very much for those inspirational words. Now, I know you're a Bethel guy. You're a Bethel graduate, so you probably would never cheer for St. Thomas Purple, but we would hope and pray that you cheer for Cadet Blue.
All right, you know that.
So given the rain, cheer for Cadet Blue.
All right.